Special announcement. We have just received word from Rome, Italy, that Sophia Loren has a very bad cold in her chest. Boy, those germs sure know how to live, don't they?
Can you top this? Hello, everybody. My name is Wink Martindale, and I'm your host for the next half hour or so on Can You Top This? Thank you. Thank you very much. Welcome, everybody here and everybody at home. Let's have some fun and tell a few jokes and laugh together, shall we? This is the show, as you know, where you at home send in the jokes and our panel of comedian experts try to top them. Let's meet those gentlemen now. They say liniment makes your arms smart. Well, here's a man who should rub a little on his head. Morey, Amsterdam, everybody.
Thank you. I figure right now we're going to start out the show with a little rhyme stuff. You like limericks?
Why don't we start out the show with
Oh,
a
what
limerick?
a clever suggestion. That's what we're going to do. There was a young man from La Dinks who went to Egypt to visit the Sphinx. He said these camels ride well, but I don't like the way they smell, because somehow he thinks the Sphinx stinks.
You got a winning score on that, Morey. Maybe we should count that. Next, a very talented musician who plays on your funny bone nicely, Mr. Nipsey Russell. Hello, Nipsey.
Peace and love. I saw a statue of Venus de Milo. As I looked at her there on the shelf, I said, imagine giving a woman a figure like that and no hands to defend herself.
Give you a score of 100 for that. Thank you, Nipsey. Now, here's one of the greatest comics in the country, in the city. Jack Carter. Here he is.
There was a young lady of Cork, whose pa made a fortune in pork. Special announcement. It's just, what the... I thought I'd read it anyway. I'll have another try at that. Hi there, Nip. How are you? Hi there, Morey. There was a young lady from Cork whose mother had a nosebleed full of pork. Said, your sister Petunia, how's your Julia? While he busted a bird with a torque. There was a young man from Panas whose nose ran down to his... What?
And now playing for you, our home viewers, our own lyrical limerick, Dick Gautier. Richard. Hello there, Dick.
The prettiest outfit that I've ever seen. And his shirt is yellow, a real nice fellow, and I was going to...
You said that to Henny Youngman. Now you've met everybody. Gentlemen, be seated. Yes. Here's how Can You Top This work.
We're all here.
We select outstanding jokes submitted by you viewers at home, and each round, Dick Gautier, our special joke teller, will tell one of the jokes which we've selected. The response of the audience here in the studio will be recorded on this computer right here. And then each one of our joke specialists will tell a joke in the same category and try to get a higher score.
Oh, yeah?
Now, to illustrate how the computer works, Dick, how about a short story for us?
Short story, yes. Let me read it here. A woman goes running into the doctor, and she says, Doctor, answer me something quickly. He says, what is it? She says, can a 7-year-old boy perform a transplant? He says, certainly not. She says, see what I said, Johnny? Give it back.
And that was a short one, very short.
Oh, you got an 8 on that.
An 8?
Which is an all-time low.
That's a 13. Don't cheat me.
Well, you hollered loud enough to get a few more points, 13. Now, that's the score that you would have to top in this case. You receive $25 for having your joke told by us. Also, an additional $25 will be yours each time one of our joke experts fails to top the score. If you top all of our celebrities, you win $100 and also a wonderful brand new Gibson side-by-side refrigerator freezer. Almost 19 cubic foot capacity and less than 32 inches of width. It features quick chef cantilever shelves, convenient door racks, and an exclusive frost clear system from Gibson, one of the white consolidated industries. We'll be back in just a moment with round 1 to try to top a 13. Okay, let's begin round 1 of our show this day. Here's a story that was sent in That regards transportation. Miss Dorothy Stoddard of Fairhaven, Massachusetts sent it to us, and here's Richard Gautier to tell it.
Now, Steve, that's the story of the happiest man in the world, and he's on a railroad train, and he's just going along. He's digging the scenery. And here comes the conductor, and he's saying, tickets, please, can I have your ticket? You want my ticket? To find my ticket. I can't find my ticket. I don't get it. Just happy, he doesn't care about anything. And he says, well, you got to find your ticket. I can't find it. I don't know where it is. You know, he keeps going, right? And the guy says, well, then you have to give me $26.75. $26.75. I don't have it. I can't find it. Right? So finally he says, look, he says, you ought to give me that money. He says, well, I'm going to take the suitcase and I'm going to throw it right out of the window. What do you think about that? I don't care. Go ahead. So he says, okay. He takes the suitcase and he goes, what? Throws it right out of the window. He says, now what do you got to say? He says, it's not my suitcase.
There you are, Richard. 70 points for the joke and another 10 points for the dance, and you got a total of 80 on it. He played the lead in Bye Bye Birdie on Broadway, played the part of Conrad Birdie, and all of that training finally came in handy.
Finally paid off.
Okay, you got to top an 80, guys. The category is transportation, and Morey will start with you.
Transportation. This is on a very, very crowded bus. And this one fella is sitting there with his eyes closed like this. Finally, the conductor came over and nudged him. He said, this is your street. This is the way you get off. He said, sorry. He said, I knew it. Conductor said, I thought you were asleep. He says, no, I wasn't sleeping. He said, you had your eyes closed. He said, I know. He said, I can't stand to look at women standing up on a crowded bus.
And at that, Morey will let you have a seat, and we'll give you 63 points, or the audience will, 63, and another $25 for Miss Stoddard of Fairhaven, Massachusetts. Jack Carter, transportation. You travel a lot.
Transportation, let's see. This happened in New York City. As you all know, it's rough there. The traffic is murder. There are almost 40 million cars. Like in Los Angeles, there are 60 million. In fact, if every car in this town were laid end to end, some jerk would pull out and try and pass them all. You know? But this happened in Manhattan. I got to Kennedy Airport, and I called a cab, and the cabbie came over. He was a Jewish Japanese. And I got in the cab, and I said, Manhattan, please, Warwick Hotel. He says, hey, ain't you Jack Carter? I said, yeah. Thrilled to be recognized. Oh, you're terrific, pal. You are brilliant. I've seen comedians, all of them. You're the greatest I ever saw. I'm glad to have you in my cab. I think you're refined, you're classic, you're brilliant. You're the best comedian in show business. Well, I was delighted. I said, thank you. Gee, while I'm in Manhattan, I'd like to have you drive me around once in a while. How do I get hold of you? Hey, he says, oh, call the garage. Everybody knows me. Just ask for Crazy Louie.
Story well told, but not quite enough to top an 80. 65 for the brilliant, the incomparable Jack Carter.
You should publish that song. Everybody in the country will be singing.
Hey, Nipsey, how about you? Transportation.
I had an experience. In a cab, I got dressed. I was coming out, ran down, got into the cab. The cab driver said, I know you. I see you on television. Rusty Nipple. I said, no. It's Nipsey. I better not tell the show. It's Nipsey Russell. He's, oh, gee, I love your work. You're beautiful. You're just splendid. It's such a thrill to meet you. I said, gee, I'm glad you recognized me, because as I was changing clothes, I left my wallet on the bureau, and I don't have one dime. He said, oh, it's all right. Don't worry about it. Just get out of the cab.
You did it, Nipsey. You got 100 on the first joke and an 84 on the second. 84 tops an 80 in anybody's book. Only one of our panelists topped your joke, though, Miss Stoddard of Fairhaven, Massachusetts. So we're going to send you a check today for $75. And our thanks for playing Can You Top This? We'll be back in round 2 in a moment. Round 2 of Can You Top This? Here's a story that was sent in by Mr. Robert W. Lindley of Monroe, Connecticut. And this has to do with mischievous boys. Richard?
There's a story about a kid who's just always into everything. And he's always saying, what's that? What's that? And the father's saying, no, put it down. What are you doing? What's that? What's that? And he's always dropping it. He's really a pain, you know. So his father, you know, really spoils the heck out of him. One day he decides to take the kid riding. They're waiting for the horses to be saddled up, and he says, how about going to the blacksmith shop? Is there anything for me to touch? Yeah, well, come on, you know, let's go into the blacksmith shop. So they're standing there and looking, and the blacksmith takes this horseshoe, and he takes it out of the forge, and, you know, when he hits it, on the anvil, and he hits it again, and he puts it over to the side, and the kid picks it up, puts it down. The father says, burned yourself, didn't you? And he says, no, it just didn't take me long to pick it up, look at it, and put it down again.
Good enough for a 53, Dick. So you guys got a top of 53. Jack, do you have any boys, mischievous boys?
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
Oh, me now? Oh, why pick on me? Oh, I got my little Michael David, my new little MD. He's already a doctor. So adorable. All day long, it's daddy, cuckoo, papa, daddy, cuckoo, gaga, which is silly because he's 12. But this is very personal in my life because as a kid, I had a candy store. My dad did. And the kids always come in and like to touch candy. So in this candy store, kid's in there, and he's touching the candy. And the candy store guy says, get away from that candy, don't touch it. And there's a big guy picking out a cigar, says, kid, go ahead, touch the candy. Looking at the cigar store owner, you know? So the kid touches the candy store maker says, I told you, don't touch the candy. What? Big guy says, kid, get back in there, touch that candy. So the kid goes over and he touches the candy store man, when he belts him and hits him. And the big guy says, hey, kid, you better be careful. This guy, I'm not you. I'm telling you.
You knocked the heck out of our meter on that one. You got a 68, topped at 53, Jack. How about that? Nipsey, how about you? Mischievous boys? Mischief?
The mother, go back over here. Can you see me?
Yeah, we got a camera right there.
The mother was scolding her little son. She said, you're a naughty boy. You're a very, very bad boy. Said, I think it's cruel of you to fight your little brother. And of all the mean, ugly things to do, you kicked him in his stomach. Little boy said, it wasn't my fault. He turned around.
Sound like a true story. Good enough to kick the computer up to 68, topping at 53, and again, topped Mr. Lindley's score of 53. Morey, how about it?
Well, you know, people talk so much about kids nowadays. It's really rough on kids because half the time their parents are telling them to find themselves and the other half the time they're telling them to get lost, which is true. And the kids really are no worse now than they were 25 years ago. They just have better weapons. But I honestly think that the big fault lies with the parents because they spoil kids. Like, we live in Beverly Hills, and it's so exclusive, even the fire department has an unlisted number. And the kids, it seems, get away with anything. I was at a friend's house the other night. Beautiful antique furniture. There's this gorgeous antique table, but a real antique. You know, went back to Louis XV, something gorgeous. And the kid is sitting there about 7 years old. He's got a hammer and nails, and he's hammering nails into this thing. Well, my wife happens to be a decorator. We saw this, we flipped. Says, my gosh, isn't that an expensive way to spoil a kid? Well, she says, it's not too bad. We get the nails wholesale.
Okay, Morey, we'll give you a retail score on that, 59, topping of 53. So all three panelists topped the joke sent in by you, Mr. Lindley of Monroe, Connecticut, that you get $25 for having Dick tell the story. And our thanks for an excellent story on Mischievous Boys. We'll be back with round 3 of Can You Top This shortly. Don't go away. All of our panelists have their favorite jokes, and we're sure that you very possibly had yours. And if you do have a favorite story that you'd like to send to us and very possibly win cash and prizes on our show, write it down. Put it on a card or in the form of a letter and mail it to this address. Can You Top This? Post Office Box 628, Culver City 90230. That's Can You Top This? Post Office Box 628, Culver City 90230. Remember, all jokes submitted become the sole property of Can You Top This? And, of course, we reserve the right to edit any and all jokes submitted. Mr. Barry Woolman sent us a joke from White Plains, New York. And it involves, well, it's a silly joke, really, so that'll be our category, silly jokes, and here's the story.
It is a silly joke. A story about a guy standing in a corner, and he has a banana sticking in each ear. And he's waiting for a bus, and the guy's there, and he does a take at him, and he says, excuse me, buddy, he says, but, you know, you got a banana sticking in your ear. I said, what? He says he says you have a banana sticking in your ear.
He said, I'm sorry, I couldn't understand you.
He said you have a banana sticking in your ear.
He said, would you please speak up? I can't hear too well. I have a banana sticking in my ear.
Well, you almost matched the score last time, Dick. You got a 56 for that, and for Mr. Woolman of White Plains, New York. Bananas is our category. Now we got silly jokes to tell. And Nipsey, how about you? Will you start it off?
Silly joke. Real silly joke. A guy standing. He said, oh, I lost my wallet. My wallet's gone. My wallet is gone. A guy walked up to him and said, what is wrong? He said, I lost my wallet. My wallet's gone. He said, where did he keep it? He said, I keep it up here. He said, well, why don't you look up there? He said, well, if I look up there and it's not up there, I'm really in trouble.
62, Nipsey, 62 beats a 56. Let's go to you, Morey. How about it? Silly jokes, any kind of silly joke.
Well, this fella, they sent away to a sanitarium for the rescue. And the warden walks by one day, and he sees him in there walking around his padded cell without a stitch of clothes on. All he got on is a high silk hat. Warden says, what's the idea of walking around here without any clothes on? There's nobody ever comes in here. He says, what's a high silk hat for? He says, somebody might.
And I just want to beat the fair. That's an uptown joke. He gets an uptown score of 59 again, topping Mr. Woolman's 56. All right, Jack, silly jokes.
Yeah, I was thinking of this one. This is a guy walking around like this. Somebody says, why does he smile all the time? No, he swallowed a banana sideways. Fella's driving through the country, and he gets lost, and he's on a back country road. And he's in a big, shiny Cadillac, and he's driving along this country road. All of a sudden, on the road ahead of him, he sees a big pool of water. Big, long pool of water, and there's a farm kid standing. He says, hey, is that shallow? Oh, yeah, it's very shallow. Let's drive right through. So the guy drives through and sinks, and he's sitting in his Cadillac up to his neck in water. He says, I thought you said it was shallow. He says, funny, it only comes up to here on the ducks.
That's a silly joke. That is a silly joke, but a good joke and a good one to get a score of 69. They had to like it. So, Mr. Woolman, Dick, Mr. Gautier,
yes,
they topped you again.
No kidding.
Yes.
How about
we
that?
lost about $100 on that. All of our panelists topped your joke, Mr. Woolman. But you do get $25 for having your joke told on the air by Dick Gautier, and our thanks for helping us play Can You Top This? And we heard some silly jokes. We'll be back in a moment with another round. All right, another round. This was sent in by Mrs. Frances Scher of Brooklyn, New York, and the category for this round is sports. Dick?
Yeah, the banana in the ear and the little... Yes. Thank you, Jack. There's about two Indians are near the reservation, and they're looking out on the lake. And they're standing there, and one says, The other one says, First one says, Next one says, The other one says, don't change the subject. No, that's not the joke. That's not the joke. Wait a minute. And they're watching, and out on the lake, all of a sudden come water skis, right? Going by. They watch him. One Indian says, why, man, drive boats so fast? The other one says, little man on string, chase him.
Okay, Dick, they like that well. That very much they liked it. 85's worth. Morey, sports.
Well, it's funny you should mention that because I come from a very sporty family. Oh. Really? Yes. Well, no, as a matter of fact, I had an uncle who was one of the world's greatest divers. Knew every dive in Brooklyn. And at one time made a sensational dive from a platform 500 feet high into a tank of water 3 feet deep. He got killed, but it was a fluke. Oh, and his father was a real diver in the family. Just started at 500 feet in the 3 feet of water. 750 feet in the 2 feet. Can I get a drum roll with this, please? 750 feet in the 2 feet of water. 1,000 feet into 1 foot of water, and finally broke the world's record. What'd he do? Dived from the top of the Empire State Building into a bowl of chicken soup. And darn near got killed. Some nut left a matzo ball in there.
Sporting dive gets you a 69, Morey. Jack?
Let's see, sports is the category, huh?
Yes, sports.
A husband is taking his wife to her first ball game. Not only that, it's the World Series. And he's dying to get there, and it's murder. Game has started, they're still on. Come on, shall I put on my wedgies or the die? Shall I put on the, this? Come on, you idiot. My sub hose are dragging. I can't get my blower over my car for that. Come on, will you? Now the subway is jammed. They finally get to the ball game, and the game is almost over. He gets into the stands with his wife cursing. He says to the guy next to him, what's going on? He says, it's the last of the ninth. It's 0-0, and both pitchers are pitching no-hitters. The wife says, oh, wonderful. We haven't missed anything.
71 failed to top an 85, but we saw you put on hose for the first time, Jack. It was worth it. All right, Nipsey.
I should have.
Nice.
A very good sports story because I have a brother who won a gold medal in the 1964 Olympics. He's getting ready to do the shot put, accidentally backed into a javelin thrower, and won the broad jump. But about you, maybe I should quit there.
You want to count that one?
I'll think that one. All right, I'm sorry.
All right, hurry it up. We got a minute.
Oh, you know, this bartender was an ex-Yankee baseball pitcher. And he was great. He had no nonsense in his bar. Sports story. The guy came in, he was drunk. He was really one of these habitual drunks. He had a wife who nagged him. She'd shout at him, what do you mean coming in here half drunk? He said, I ran out of money. And he used to get thrown out of the bar. What'd you say? They threw him out of the bar every day, and he'd stagger right back. Throw him out of the bar. One guy said, hey, you keep throwing that guy out, and he comes back in. The pitcher said, yeah, I guess I must be putting too much backspin on him.
Thank you, Nipsey. Thank you very much, Nipsey. You got an 82, failed to top an 85. So, you get $100, Mrs. Scher of Brooklyn, New York. Everybody failed to top your score. And you also get the Gibson refrigerator freezer. And gentlemen, thank you for being with us. We're a little late. We'll see you soon again on Can You Top This? Goodbye, everybody. Air transportation furnished by the people of American Airlines who want everyone to make themselves at home the American way. Transportation and promotional consideration provided by Hertz, where you don't just rent a car, you rent a company.